The galaxy had known war for centuries. Stars burned with light, but also with the echoes of distant battles. Fleets of alien ships, sharp and glimmering like metal sharks, cut through space, seeking dominance. For countless species, war was survival. Yet amid all this, humanity was new, young, and underestimated. They were small compared to the great fleets of the galaxy's old powers. Their technology was unrefined, their numbers few. Most species believed humans could never survive a real war. Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Aegis, the human flagship. She was tall, with sharp eyes that seemed to miss nothing. Her hands rested lightly on the console, but her mind raced faster than any computer on the ship. The battle that had just ended left the human fleet battered. Ships floated like broken stars in space, some twisted and smoking. But the humans had survived, and Elena was alive to see it. "Status report," she said, her voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Mark Renault, her second in command, tapped a screen. "The enemy has retreated beyond the outer rim. Their losses are heavy. We've suffered more, but we're holding. Communications across the fleet are stable." Elena's eyes scanned the data, her mind analyzing patterns the aliens had left behind. She had a feeling, a sharp, uneasy feeling that the battle was not over. Humans were tired, yes, but the aliens were clever. They would not give up so easily. "Set a perimeter around the damaged colonies," Elena ordered, "and bring the injured ships in for repairs. I want a full assessment of every system by sundown." "Yes, Captain." As the crew moved efficiently, a quiet hum of the ship's engines filled the bridge. Elena walked past rows of officers, her boots making soft sounds on the metallic floor. She paused at the viewport, staring into the black vastness outside. Stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across an endless cloth of velvet. Somewhere out there, she thought, the enemy was regrouping, planning their next strike. A small crew member approached her. "Captain, the data from the last battle, it's strange. The aliens seemed to hold back at the end. They didn't finish the attack. It's like they expected something." Elena turned to him, frowning slightly. "Or maybe they are hiding their real plan. That's the most dangerous kind of enemy, one who appears defeated but is actually ready to strike." The young officer nodded nervously and moved away. Elena returned to her console, running simulations. The numbers were troubling. Every time the alien fleet moved, they left behind patterns almost like messages. Most humans would not see it, but Elena could. She tapped her fingers against the console, thinking. She had trained for moments like this, though no training could prepare anyone for the uncertainty of space war. The galaxy did not forgive mistakes. She thought of her crew, the brave men and women who trusted her to lead them. If she missed this, if she allowed the aliens even a small advantage, countless lives would be lost. Suddenly, the communication panel beeped. Elena leaned forward. The voice was calm but urgent. "Captain Voss, this is Admiral Kor. The Coalition reports that the aliens are repositioning a major weapon system near the Zeta Quadrant. Estimated destructive capacity. It could wipe out entire colonies. Recommendation: retreat and allow them space until more information is gathered." Elena's fingers tightened on the edge of the console. Retreat? That word never felt right in her mouth. She could see the fear in some of the human commanders' eyes. They were exhausted. They wanted safety. But Elena knew humans had a gift. No alien had: courage, ingenuity, and the refusal to give up even when the odds were impossible. "Admiral Kor," she replied, steady and resolute, "we are not retreating. Prepare all available strike teams. I want reconnaissance on that weapon system immediately. And alert the fleet. We may have to move fast." The line went silent. For a moment, then Admiral Kor's voice returned, tinged with surprise. "Captain, you do understand the risk? Engaging directly could mean the end of human presence in this sector." Elena's eyes did not waver. "I understand perfectly. But doing nothing guarantees defeat. The enemy thinks we are weak. Let's show them how wrong they are." As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her officers. "We have a lot of work. Every ship, every crew member matters. This is not a fight we can win by hiding. We win by being smart, fast, and unafraid." The officers nodded, inspired by her resolve. Even the tired, worn faces seemed to brighten. There was a fire in humans that no alien could extinguish, a fire born of hope, courage, and stubborn determination. Meanwhile, in the observation deck, young Ensign Lena Torres watched Elena closely. She was new, only a year in the fleet, but already she could see why Elena was respected. The captain never let fear dictate her actions. Instead, she used it to sharpen her decisions. Lena felt a sense of pride to serve under her. "Do you think we can really face them head-on?" Lena asked quietly to a fellow crew member. He shrugged, watching the stars. "I don't know. But Captain Voss makes you feel like we can do anything. And somehow, I think she's right." Outside the ship, the galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. The darkness seemed to hum with hidden threats. Alien fleets moved in secret, and strange gravitational anomalies twisted space. Elena sensed it. Something was coming, something that would test the humans like never before. She walked back to the bridge, stopping again at the main console. The map of the galaxy displayed the positions of friendly and enemy ships. Humans were scattered, some damaged, some hidden. The aliens, however, were concentrated, their numbers vast and organized. Yet the humans had one advantage: unpredictability. Aliens could calculate probabilities, but humans could surprise them. Elena leaned closer to the map, tapping coordinates and plotting potential routes. She was not just thinking about the next battle, she was thinking several steps ahead. She imagined the aliens' reactions, their overconfidence, their mistakes. Humans had survived for so long not because they were the strongest, but because they learned faster, adapted faster, and never gave up. A sudden alert flashed on her console. Sensors had detected a fleet moving at high speed through a nearby star cluster. The readings were unusual, too precise for standard patrols. Elena's eyes narrowed. "Aliens," she muttered. "They're already on the move." She tapped a few buttons, sending orders. "All strike teams, ready for immediate deployment. Recon units, track that fleet. We need to know what they're planning before they strike." The bridge was alive with motion. Officers ran calculations, input coordinates, and gave commands. Elena moved among them, her presence calm but commanding. Each action, each word, inspired confidence. The humans were tired, yes, but they were also determined, and determination could turn the tide of any battle. Hours passed, but Elena did not rest. She studied star charts, checked communications, and ran endless simulations. Every scenario had risk and every decision carried weight. Yet she felt a strange clarity, a quiet certainty that humans would not fail. Finally, she paused and looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the aliens were preparing. Somewhere out there, countless lives depended on the humans' next move. Elena clenched her fists lightly. "They think the fight is over," she said softly to herself. "But they haven't met a human like me yet." The hum of the ship continued, the quiet tension of the galaxy pressing in. The humans had survived today, but tomorrow would bring new challenges, new dangers, and new tests of courage. And Elena knew one thing: when the fight came, humanity would not hide. They would stand on the front line, and they would fight. The human fleet moved cautiously through the darkness of space. Captain Elena Voss had issued orders for reconnaissance and small quick strikes, but the tension was palpable. Every officer, every crew member felt the weight of what might come. The alien fleet was unpredictable, and their numbers were vast. Yet there was something different about humans. Their refusal to surrender. "Even when the odds seemed impossible, Captain, sensors are picking up unusual energy readings ahead," Lieutenant Renault said, his voice steady but tense. "It appears to be a large weapon system moving into position near the Zeta Quadrant." Elena's eyes narrowed as she studied the data. The readings were clear. This was no ordinary fleet movement. The weapon system was massive, capable of destroying entire colonies. The aliens were clever, but they had underestimated one thing: the humans' will to act. "Plot a course to intercept," Elena ordered. "We need eyes on that weapon before it fires. Prepare the strike teams for engagement if necessary." "Yes, Captain." Renault tapped his console and began issuing orders. Crew members moved quickly, the hum of machinery filling the bridge as the Aegis and its accompanying ships adjusted their course. As the fleet approached the Zeta Quadrant, the tension grew. Elena stood at the front of the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console. She could feel the anticipation in the air, the silent fear of the crew. But fear was not weakness here. It was a reminder of what was at stake. Suddenly, alarms blared across the fleet. The weapon system had activated. A massive beam of energy shot through space, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Elena's stomach clenched as she watched a distant human colony explode in a brilliant flash of fire. "Damage report," she shouted. Lieutenant Renault's fingers flew over the controls. "We've lost communication with Colony Theta. Casualties are high. The weapon's firepower is beyond anything we've faced." Elena's jaw tightened. She had predicted danger, but seeing it in action was different. Humans had survived many battles, but the destruction of an entire colony was a harsh reminder of the stakes. Yet even in this moment of fear, Elena's resolve did not waver. "This is exactly why we cannot retreat," she said, her voice steady. "We cannot let them believe we are weak. Prepare all remaining strike teams. We hit them now before they can fire again." The human ships moved with precision, smaller and faster than the alien vessels, darting through asteroid fields and using gravitational anomalies to hide their approach. Elena's strategy was clear. Use the environment, use their speed, and use their brains. The aliens relied on sheer firepower and numbers. Humans relied on creativity. "Captain, our stealth units are in position," reported Ensign Torres, her eyes wide with both fear and excitement. "They're ready to engage the enemy weapon." Elena nodded. "Good. Execute the plan." The stealth units split into groups, moving around the massive weapon system like shadows. Using electromagnetic pulses and holographic decoys, they began to confuse the alien sensors. Enemy ships turned in the wrong direction, fired at empty space, and fell into traps the humans had carefully prepared. The first strike hit with surprising force. Small human ships darted around the larger alien vessels, disabling key systems. Engines were disrupted, weapons jammed, and communication channels broken. The aliens were caught off guard. They had expected humans to retreat, not attack. Elena's heart raced as she watched the chaos unfold. The humans were not only surviving, they were winning small victories in a fight that should have been impossible. Her crew moved with precision, following every command, trusting her completely. But the victory was short-lived. Sensors suddenly picked up a massive movement. A second alien fleet, larger and more organized, was approaching fast. Elena's eyes widened. This was not expected. The aliens had more forces than anyone knew. "They're bringing reinforcements," Lieutenant Renault said, his voice tense. "We can't hold them with our current strength." Elena did not hesitate. "Then we adapt. Split the fleet. Take the smaller units and harass their reinforcements. The rest of us will continue the strike. We cannot allow that weapon to fire again." The human ships split into smaller groups, each moving with incredible speed and precision. They used the asteroids and debris fields for cover, attacking when the aliens least expected it. The battle was intense, a mix of chaos and calculated strategy. The humans' bravery and adaptability became their greatest weapons. Elena took a deep breath and activated the Aegis's advanced targeting system. She aimed for the core of the alien weapon system, calculating the precise moment to strike. Every second counted. The weapon's power was immense, capable of wiping out dozens of human ships in an instant. But Elena's plan relied on timing, skill, and the aliens underestimating her. "Mark," she said, turning to her second-in-command, "prepare the strike team. We hit the core together. This is our chance." "Yes, Captain," Renault replied, his fingers moving quickly over the controls. The human ships advanced, weaving through enemy fire. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, streaks of energy cutting through the void. The aliens fired relentlessly, but the humans were fast, unpredictable, and fearless. They moved like shadows, striking where the enemy least expected. Finally, Elena's team reached the weapon's core. Small ships attached magnetic disruptors, sending pulses into the alien system. The weapon shuddered and sparked, alarms blaring across its massive structure. The aliens realized too late what had happened. "Core destabilizing," Renault reported. "We have a window, Captain." Elena nodded. "Push it to maximum. Complete the strike now." The humans unleashed a coordinated attack, targeting key points to ensure the weapon could not recover quickly. Sparks flew, systems failed, and the massive weapon began to break apart. For a moment, the bridge was silent, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Then, with a massive explosion, the weapon system was destroyed. A shockwave rippled through space, and the aliens' forces faltered. The human fleet had achieved the impossible. They had struck first and struck hard. Elena allowed herself a brief smile, but there was no time to celebrate. The second alien fleet was still approaching, larger and more dangerous. She knew the victory was only temporary. The aliens would regroup, and the humans would face even greater challenges. "Prepare for reinforcements," she ordered. "We need to hold the line until the rest of the fleet can join us. Keep the pressure on them. We will not retreat. Not now, not ever." The crew responded with determination, inspired by Elena's courage and clarity. Even though fear lingered, it became a tool, sharpening their focus rather than paralyzing them. Each human knew that their survival depended on creativity, courage, and trust in their captain. Hours passed as the humans engaged the approaching fleet. The battle was fierce and unrelenting, with ships darting through asteroid belts, weaving between debris, and using every advantage they could find. The aliens, powerful and organized, were shocked by the humans' boldness. They had underestimated these newcomers, these fragile-looking humans who refused to surrender. Elena moved across the bridge, checking every system and giving precise commands. Her mind was always several steps ahead, anticipating the aliens' movements, predicting their mistakes, and exploiting them. She knew humans could not match the aliens in sheer numbers or technology, but they could outthink them, adapt faster, and fight with unyielding spirit. Finally, as the alien reinforcements faltered, Elena allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. The humans had survived. They had struck first, disrupted a powerful weapon, and held the enemy at bay. Yet she knew the battle was far from over. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly, looking out at the stars. "They may think we are weak, but they have no idea what humans are capable of." The fleet moved forward, battered but unbroken, ready for whatever came next. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the aliens watched, realizing that humans were not what they had expected. They were more than survival instinct. They were courage, ingenuity, and the refusal to give up. And at the front of it all stood Captain Elena Voss, ready to lead them into the next fight, no matter how impossible it seemed. The human fleet hovered near the edge of the Zeta Quadrant, battered but unbroken. Captain Elena Voss studied the alien formations on the display, her sharp eyes tracing patterns that few others could see. The aliens had underestimated the humans once, and they were beginning to realize it, but it was far from over. "Captain," Lieutenant Renault said, his voice steady but tense, "scans show that the alien reinforcements are regrouping near the Vorta asteroid belt. If we can intercept them there, we might turn the tide." Elena leaned forward. The asteroid belt was a dangerous place. Its rocks shifted constantly, and the gravitational anomalies could tear ships apart. But that was exactly why she had chosen it. Humans were small, fast, and clever. The aliens relied on brute force and technology. They would struggle in an environment they could not control. "Prepare a strike plan," she ordered. "We'll take the smaller units and lead the aliens into the belt. Full coordination. Timing is everything." The crew moved quickly. Every ship, every crew member knew the stakes. The human fleet was outnumbered, but they had one advantage the aliens could not calculate: ingenuity. Hours passed as the fleet approached the asteroid belt. The tension was palpable. Even seasoned officers felt it in their bones. Elena walked along the bridge, observing, checking, and silently encouraging. Fear was present, yes, but it was transformed into focus. Every crew member knew that their survival depended on following their captain's lead. "Captain, we've been detected," Ensign Torres said, her voice tight. "The aliens are adjusting their formation. They're preparing for an attack." Elena's jaw tightened. "Good. That's exactly what we want. Keep the fleet ready. We wait for the right moment, then strike." As the human ships entered the asteroid belt, the alien fleet followed, unaware of the traps waiting for them. The belt was a labyrinth of massive rocks and shifting debris. Human pilots darted between the rocks, using gravitational anomalies to gain speed and maneuver unpredictably. The aliens struggled to keep formation, their larger ships unable to navigate the narrow passages without risking collisions. Elena's plan was precise. The humans had set up ambush points using the rocks as cover. Magnetic disruptors deployed earlier jammed the alien sensors, making them unsure of where the human ships were. Holographic decoys created illusions of entire squadrons, confusing the enemy further. "Strike teams, move!" Elena commanded. Small groups of human ships darted from the shadows, hitting the alien vessels at weak points. Engines were disabled, weapons jammed, and communication systems disrupted. The aliens, confident in their technology, had not expected this level of cunning. They had underestimated human creativity, bravery, and adaptability. "Captain, the enemy fleet is breaking formation," Renault reported. "They're trying to retreat, but the belt is slowing them down. We can trap them." Elena smiled slightly. "Good. Push forward. Keep the pressure on. Don't let them reorganize." The battle intensified. Explosions lit up the dark void of space as ships collided with asteroids or were hit by human attacks. The humans moved with astonishing coordination, each strike precise, each movement calculated. They were outnumbered, but they fought with the courage of every human who had ever refused to give up. Amid the chaos, Elena noticed something troubling on the display. A section of the alien fleet had broken away, moving with purpose. She realized immediately what it meant: a surprise attack on the human flank. "Renault, take the secondary squadron and intercept that group," she ordered. "I'll handle the main fleet. We can't let them flank us." The secondary squadron responded quickly, diving into the asteroid belt to confront the rogue alien ships. Elena turned her attention back to the main fleet. Every decision now could mean life or death for thousands of humans. "Target the lead ships," she instructed. "Disable their engines first. Focused strikes, timing, and precision. Move." Human ships surged forward, darting in and out of cover, striking with speed and accuracy. Alien ships fired relentlessly, but their attacks were uncoordinated, slowed by the environment and human interference. One by one, the alien vessels faltered, engines failing, weapons offline, systems damaged. "Captain, we've created a corridor," Renault reported. "The remaining alien ships are funneling into our ambush zones." Elena's eyes glinted with determination. "Excellent, keep them moving. Don't let them escape. Strike hard and fast." The humans exploited the corridor expertly. Small strike teams attacked from multiple directions, taking advantage of the narrow pathways and gravitational shifts. The aliens could not adapt quickly enough. Ships collided with asteroids or each other, while human attacks continued to disable systems and cut off escape routes. Hours of intense fighting passed, but gradually the human strategy began to work. The alien fleet, larger and more powerful, was being worn down by sheer ingenuity and relentless pressure. The humans were proving what Elena had always believed: courage, adaptability, and cleverness could overcome sheer numbers and technology. Yet the battle was far from over. As the main alien fleet faltered, Elena detected another, even larger group moving toward them from a nearby sector. She realized immediately that the aliens had anticipated their tactics. The fight was escalating, and the humans could not rely on ambushes alone anymore. "Prepare for the next wave," Elena said calmly, though her mind raced with strategy. "We've proven they can be stopped, but we have to be ready for anything. The next move will test us all." Renault leaned closer. "Captain, the secondary squadron has engaged the flank. They're holding, but they're outnumbered. We may need to pull them back if the main fleet can't finish the ambush in time." Elena nodded. "Not yet. Let them hold. The more the aliens focus on them, the more vulnerable they are to the main fleet's strikes. Timing is everything." The humans pressed forward, every ship moving in perfect coordination, every pilot following Elena's lead. The alien fleet, once confident, was now faltering. Their attacks became frantic, disorganized, and desperate. They had expected humans to retreat, to hide, to accept defeat. But the humans had done the opposite. They had faced the enemy head-on, using strategy and courage to level the odds. Amid the battle, Elena noticed one alien flagship attempting to break through the human line. It was massive, heavily armed and far more advanced than any other ship present. Its shields glowed with energy, and weapons locked on human vessels. "Mark, we have a problem," Elena said. "That flagship could turn the tide against us if it reaches our formation. We need a special strike team to take it down." Renault's fingers flew over the controls. "I can lead a team. We'll take smaller ships and strike from multiple angles. It will be risky, but it's the only chance." Elena looked at him with approval. "Do it. Timing is crucial. We cannot let it reach our fleet. Trust your instincts and remember, humans are unpredictable. Use that to your advantage." The strike team launched, weaving between asteroid fields and evading enemy fire. They attacked with precision, targeting weak points and exploiting the flagship's slower maneuverability. The battle raged on, and for a moment the humans seemed to dance between destruction and victory, their courage shining against impossible odds. Back on the Aegis, Elena monitored every movement. Her heart pounded, not with fear, but with focus and determination. Every decision mattered. Every second counted. The humans had faced impossible situations before, but this was their chance to prove themselves, not just to survive, but to dominate against an enemy that had underestimated them. Finally, after hours of intense combat, the alien flagship faltered. Its engines were disabled, weapons offline, and it drifted helplessly in the asteroid belt. The smaller strike team celebrated quietly, knowing they had achieved the impossible. Renault reported, "Flagship neutralized. Enemy fleet morale is collapsing. Remaining ships are retreating." Elena allowed herself a moment to breathe. The human fleet had not only survived, they had turned the battle in their favor. But she knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would regroup, adapt, and return with greater strength. "This victory is ours," she said quietly, looking at the stars. "But the war is far from over. They thought they could defeat us easily. They thought the fight was over. They were wrong. And they will learn, in time, that humans never give up." The fleet moved forward, battered but unbroken, their spirits stronger than ever. Each officer and crew member carried the weight of what they had accomplished, knowing that humanity had proven itself capable of standing against even the most powerful foes. Helena gazed at the stars beyond the viewport, her mind already planning for the challenges ahead. The turning point had come, and the humans had emerged stronger, braver, and more united than ever. The galaxy would remember this day. The day humanity proved that courage, ingenuity, and determination could overcome any obstacle, even when the odds seemed impossible. And at the center of it all stood Captain Elena Voss, ready to lead her people into the next fight, confident that humans could face any challenge that came their way. The battle had taken its toll on the human fleet. Ships floated like wounded birds through space, their hulls scarred, their engines sputtering. Yet, amid the smoke and sparks of recent victory, Captain Elena Voss remained calm, her mind already planning the next move. She knew the aliens would not remain defeated for long. They were calculating, patient, and ruthless. Humanity had survived so far because of courage and strategy, but now the true test was about to begin. "Captain, we've tracked the enemy fleet," Lieutenant Renault said, his eyes on the display. "They're retreating toward a central weapons hub in the Orpheus sector. It's heavily guarded, but if we can strike there, we could end their offensive power." Elena's gaze sharpened. The hub was massive, a fortress of technology and firepower. Destroying it would be no easy task. Many would call it impossible. But Elena had never led humans to do what was easy. She thrived on challenges on the edge of danger where ingenuity mattered more than sheer strength. "Prepare a strike team," she said, her voice steady. "We're going in. Stealth approach. We hit the hub before they can react. If we succeed, we cripple their fleet for good." The crew moved quickly. Engineers calibrated engines, weapons, and shields while pilots ran simulations for every possible scenario. Elena walked the bridge, checking every system, her sharp eyes noting every detail. Every crew member knew that survival depended on skill, speed, and trust in their captain. Hours later, the strike team, piloting smaller, agile ships, approached the Orpheus sector. The weapons hub loomed ahead, massive and intimidating. Energy shields glimmered and dozens of alien ships patrolled its perimeter. One misstep would mean destruction. "Remember," Elena said, addressing the team through the comm system, "we are outnumbered, but we are not outsmarted. Use the environment. Use the shadows. Move quickly. Adapt to every change. We survive because we think faster, act faster, and never give up." The ships entered the asteroid field surrounding the hub. The jagged rocks created a natural maze, giving the humans cover from enemy sensors. Stealth technology made them nearly invisible, but one wrong move could expose them to overwhelming firepower. "Captain," Ensign Torres said, her voice tense, "the hub's defense grid is stronger than we expected. They're scanning the field for anomalies. We have to move carefully." Elena nodded. "Then we move like shadows. Follow the plan, but be ready to improvise. Humans are unpredictable. That's our advantage." The fleet split into smaller groups, each assigned a critical target within the hub. Some were to disable the shields, others to sabotage the weapon systems, and a few to create diversions. Timing was everything. One misstep, and the mission would fail. As the humans advanced, alien ships detected unusual activity. Alarms blared across the hub, warning of intruders. Energy pulses shot through space, forcing the human ships to dive and weave. Yet despite the chaos, Elena's plan held. The smaller ships, moving like shadows among the asteroids, struck at precise points, disabling shield generators one by one. "Shields are down, Captain," Renault reported. "We have a small window to attack the core." Elena's heart raced. The core was massive, the center of the hub's power. If they could destabilize it, the alien fleet would lose their most dangerous weapon. But reaching it required passing through layers of defense, and time was short. "Strike team, focus on the core. Maximum efficiency. We move now," she ordered. The ship surged forward, darting between enemy fire and massive debris. Explosions lit the darkness as energy blasts collided with rocks and hulls. The aliens fired relentlessly, but the human speed and ingenuity allowed them to evade most attacks. One by one, small groups attached magnetic disruptors, sending pulses into the core systems. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, and the hub shook under the assault. "Core destabilizing," Renault said. "Energy levels are spiking. We need to push it further." Elena nodded. "Do it. Focus strikes. Keep the pressure on. The humans can do this." Suddenly, a massive alien warship appeared, faster and stronger than any they had seen. It aimed directly at the strike team, weapons locked. The hub's defenses had called in reinforcements. "Captain, we're trapped," one pilot shouted, dodging energy blasts. Elena's mind worked quickly. "We are not trapped. We are preparing a trap of our own. Use the asteroids. Split formation. Attack from multiple angles. We survive because we adapt." The humans split, weaving through the rocks, attacking the warship from unexpected angles. Each hit weakened its shields, forcing the alien ship to retreat temporarily. The smaller strike teams moved closer to the core, their pulses destabilizing its systems further. Hours of intense maneuvering passed. Human ships darted in and out, their bravery and precision pushing the hub closer to collapse. Several ships sustained heavy damage, but the crews refused to retreat. Every human knew that failure was not an option. "Captain," Torres said, "the core is critical. If it explodes, it could destroy everything nearby, including us. We need to control the detonation." Elena's eyes narrowed. "We will. Focus on stabilizing the breach while completing the sabotage. Human ingenuity will guide us." The strike teams worked together, applying calculated disruptions to the core. Magnetic pulses, energy diversions, and precise timing caused the hub to tremble. The alien operators inside were frantic, struggling to regain control, but every attempt failed. "Core destabilized," Renault reported. "Energy levels are critical. We have control." Elena's lips curved into a small smile. The humans had turned the impossible into reality. They had infiltrated the alien hub, survived overwhelming odds, and were about to cripple the aliens' most powerful weapon. "Prepare for extraction," she said. "We've done what we came to do. Time to get out safely." The strike teams pulled back, weaving through the asteroid field again, dodging energy blasts from the hub's failing defenses. Explosions erupted behind them as the core reached critical levels. The hub trembled, then erupted in a controlled series of detonations, shattering the defenses without destroying the surrounding environment. The alien fleet was stunned. Their main weapon hub, the heart of their offensive power, was neutralized. They had underestimated humans once again. Not brute strength, not technology, but ingenuity. Courage and adaptability had won the day. Elena guided the fleet safely away from the hub. Pilots cheered quietly over the comms, relieved to have survived such a dangerous mission. Human ingenuity had not only saved the day, it had proven that even against overwhelming odds they could succeed. "Captain, the enemy fleet is retreating," Renault reported. "Their morale is broken. They'll need time to regroup." Elena allowed herself a small sigh of relief. The humans had survived one of the most dangerous missions imaginable. They had struck at the enemy's heart and survived. Yet she knew this was only part of a larger war. The aliens would return stronger and more prepared. "This is far from over," Elena said, her eyes on the stars. "But we have shown what humans are capable of. They thought they could destroy us. They were wrong. And they will learn in time that humans fight in ways no one expects, and we never give up." The fleet moved forward, battered but unbroken. The humans had struck the enemy where it hurt most, and in doing so had earned a new level of respect. Across the galaxy, whispers of human courage and ingenuity spread, reaching species that had once dismissed them as weak. And at the center of it all stood Captain Elena Voss, calm, focused, and ready for the challenges that lay ahead. Humans had faced the impossible and had survived, but the greatest test was yet to come. The galaxy was quiet, but only for a moment. The recent battles had left scars, ships drifting through space, colonies damaged, and fleets scattered. Yet humanity stood tall, battered but unbroken. Captain Elena Voss watched the stars from the bridge of the Aegis, her mind already thinking several steps ahead. The destruction of the Orpheus hub had crippled the alien fleet, but she knew the war was far from over. The enemy would return, stronger and more cautious. "Captain," Lieutenant Renault said, breaking the silence. "Sensors indicate a movement of alien ships from the far sectors. They seem to be regrouping, but their formation is unusual. It's as if they're preparing for something bigger." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a tactical briefing. I want every ship ready. Humans have survived against impossible odds before, and we will survive again. But this time we need to ensure our victory is decisive." In the command room, the remaining fleet gathered. Officers, pilots, engineers, and support crew stood together, ready to listen. They were tired, some more than others, but the fire of determination burned in every eye. Humans had been tested repeatedly, and yet here they were, ready to face the impossible once more. Elena stood before them, calm, confident, and commanding. "We've faced fear and danger and survived," she said. "We've struck at the heart of their power and shown them that humans are not weak. But the enemy will try again. They will attempt to rebuild, to strike back, and we will be ready. Our strength is not just in our ships or weapons. It is in our courage, our ingenuity, and our unity. Today we finish what we started. Today we show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of." The fleet responded with quiet but firm acknowledgement. Every human knew the stakes. Every human knew that the final move had to be precise, calculated, and fearless. Hours later, the humans approached the remnants of the alien fleet. Scattered groups of alien ships tried to regroup, but their formation was weak, disorganized. The Orpheus hub's destruction had left them vulnerable, and now humanity had the advantage. "Captain, enemy is moving into attack formation," Renaud said. "They may attempt a last strike to recover some control." Elena's gaze sharpened. "Then we force them to reveal their strategy. Use diversionary units. Lead them toward the asteroid fields near Sector Z. We control the battlefield. Every move they make, we anticipate. Every mistake they make, we exploit." The fleet moved as one, smaller human ships darting through the darkness like shadows. Diversionary units drew enemy attention, firing and maneuvering as if retreating, luring the aliens into the pre-planned trap. The larger human ships, including the Aegis, stayed hidden, waiting for the right moment to strike. "Steady," Elena whispered, her hands on the console. "Timing is everything. Remember, we are not just fighting to survive. We are fighting to prove that humans belong in this galaxy." The aliens, overconfident and desperate, took the bait. Their ships followed the diversions into the asteroid fields, where navigation was treacherous and the human strategy was strongest. Energy blasts ricocheted against rocks, ships collided or narrowly avoided destruction, and chaos spread through the alien formation. Elena's strike teams moved quickly, taking advantage of the confusion. Small, agile human ships targeted key vessels, disabling engines and weapon systems. Each strike was precise, exploiting weaknesses that the aliens had never anticipated. "Captain, the flagship is attempting to break formation," Renault reported. "If it succeeds, it could rally the remaining fleet." Elena's eyes gleamed with determination. "We cannot allow that. Assemble the elite strike squad. I'll lead them personally. We take the flagship, and with it we finish this battle." The elite squadron, the fastest and most skilled pilots in the fleet, prepared for a direct assault. Elena led the way in the Aegis, her confidence inspiring every crew member. The flagship loomed ahead, massive and heavily armed, but the humans had courage and cunning on their side. "Approach from the shadows," Elena ordered. "Use the asteroids for cover. Hit from multiple angles. Disrupt their systems simultaneously. We succeed together or not at all." The squadron moved with precision, weaving between rocks and enemy fire. Explosions lit the void of space as ships collided or were hit, but the human pilots pressed on. Magnetic disruptors, electronic interference, and precise targeting caused the flagship to falter. Its shields flickered, weapons jammed, and communication systems failed. "Target core systems," Elena commanded. "Maximum precision. One shot coordinated. We end this." The squadron attacked together, striking the core and disabling key systems. Sparks flew, alarms screamed across the flagship, and the alien crew scrambled to respond. But the humans were faster, smarter, and more determined. One by one, the alien ships around the flagship fell into chaos, unable to function without their leader. "Flagship neutralized," Renault reported. "Enemy fleet morale is collapsing. Remaining ships are retreating." Elena allowed herself a moment to breathe. The humans had done the impossible once more. They had faced a powerful enemy, struck at the heart of their fleet, and survived. But more than that, they had proven something greater. Humanity could stand against forces that had once seemed unstoppable. The fleet regrouped, taking stock of the damage. Many ships were battered, and lives had been lost, but the mission had succeeded. Humans had secured victory not through brute force alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. Elena walked the bridge, her presence calm but commanding. Crew members looked to her for guidance, and she offered words of encouragement. "We have won today, but we must remember why. Not because we are the strongest, but because we are determined. Because we are human. We survive, we adapt, and we fight for each other. That is our greatest strength." Across the galaxy, the news of the human victory spread. Species that had once dismissed humanity as weak began to take notice. They whispered of courage, ingenuity, and fearlessness. Humans were no longer seen as fragile newcomers. They were a force to be respected, a species capable of standing on the front lines and winning against the impossible. As the fleet moved toward friendly space for repairs and resupply, Elena reflected on the battles they had fought. Every human who had stood with her had proven that the heart and mind could triumph over technology and numbers. They had taken the fight to the enemy and had survived to tell the story. In the quiet moments, Elena spoke softly to herself. They thought the fight was over. They were wrong. We are humans, and this is only the beginning. The crew, inspired and proud, prepared for the next chapter. They had faced overwhelming odds, yet their courage and unity had turned the tide. Humanity had emerged not just as survivors, but as a beacon of hope and strength in the galaxy. And at the center of it all stood Captain Elena Voss, calm, resolute, and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The humans had taken the front line, proven their worth, and earned their place in the stars. The galaxy had changed. Forever. Humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage, ingenuity, and determination could turn the impossible into reality. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, the humans knew one truth above all. They would never give up, and they would never be underestimated again. The war might continue. The battles might rage, but humanity had shown its true strength, and the universe would never forget it.